Jumbo Rafiki Kenyans side here. Welcome. Hope you guys are having a good day, a good week, a good month. The weather is getting a lot warmer in America. If it's getting warmer in your area as well, it's getting a lot warmer in our areas. Hopefully, you guys are staying cool. Hopefully, you guys are taking medications to any allergies. But without further ado, let's begin. So, for those who don't know, shout out to Brian who helped us with this. We've officially named our program called the 4 Hope Program, and we also created our own logo to prevent any copyright issues. So, without further ado, let's begin. So today we're going to be discussing our very first unit. We're going to be discussing about bike care. So in this unit, we're going to be discussing about bike safety, really behind the ideas of traffic safety and what the signs a biker uses. Then we'll be discussing about the mechanics behind the bike, specifically pedaling. And then we'll be discussing about the physics behind biking, particularly dynamos, and which Sean is also going to discuss. What Sean's going to discuss about is proper bike maintenance. So Sean will discuss about proper bike maintenance, and we'll be discussing everything throughout this unit. If you guys have any questions, please let us know. Excuse my audio. My audio is a little bit bad, but I'm doing the best I can with what I have in my disposal. So let's begin. Let's start with the safety question. So this question here says that John was teaching his students at the orphanage. Joe called John saying he was lost and he doesn't know where he is. John went looking for Joe very quickly like Superman, speeding with his bike down the road. An officer pulled him over. What do you think the officer said? So here are the choices. Choice A says, would you like a donut? B, I'm your biggest fan, John. C, why were you speeding? Or D, would you like my police car? Oh, you guys can pause the video. But if you guys have answered the question, if you guys have answered the question, the answer would be here in this case C. Now, the question is, why are you speeding? Speeding is a very, very crucial factor when you are driving down the road. When it comes to traffic, there are other cars that are taking the road. You don't own the road. You have other people that are on the road. It is important that you allow people to bypass so they can cross the street, allow cars to yield. If you speed, danger can occur. Collisions can occur. You can also kill a person on the road, a pedestrian. These are things that you have to be very critical. Safety is priority. You have to prioritize safety over speed. And that's why we also have speed limits in our area. Hopefully you're in your area as well. Safety is also there as well. So now let's talk about 5 important tips that we can discuss about when it comes to traffic safety, specifically with biking. Tip 1, never speed, because accidents could always happen. You never know when a person is going to cross the road. You never know when they're going to jaywalk. You never know when a car will swerve or a car will yield. You need to make way for people who also need to go in that same direction. We all have different things that are going on in our world, but you have to be very careful when it comes to speeding. The vehicle is not a toy. It's something that has to be taken very seriously. Tip number 2, stay visible and interact with the drivers. Try to stay in contact with the driver, especially with the bike, so that way you don't get into a serious collision with the driver. Tip 3, have water when going on long rides to prevent dehydration. When you're going on long rides, you will start to lose some stamina, and you need to have water so that way you can hydrate. So that way, because you're pushing the bike forward. You're the power. You're basically the power of the bike. You're pushing the bike forward. And with that requires energy, and that comes from hydration as well, which comes from water. Tip 4, have a cell phone and cash. Now I learned that like in our area, like on the train station, we have these specific vendors where we have these certain cash areas where we can purchase a MetroCard in case if it doesn't work or if you don't have a credit card. It's always crucial to have cash in a cell phone. Cell phone in cases if you're lost, to navigate somewhere properly, or to have and to have cash as well. So that way, if you need to get something to quickly repair your bike or getting some food or water, that's something that can be very crucial in the long run. Tip 5 is to always stay alert. You never know when a vehicle is going to come. You never know when a pedestrian is going to come. Please stay alert. Bikers always need to stay alert. In our area, we also have bike safety lanes. We'll be talking about that perhaps in the future about this, but bike safety lanes in America, They just are basically lanes that are specifically deal towards bikes. They have their own pathway, so that way they can get to somewhere safely. And cars do not need to go that areas, which is a good thing. Now, in terms of bicycle safety over here, we have a bicycle and a person. Now, here is something that's really awesome about this is that he has side reflectors, red reflectors, pedal reflectors, front reflectors as well, and these reflectors indicate where the bike is at. So that way the driver can stay in contact with the bike specifically as well. We have the front and rear lights to allow the biker to see where he's going. High visibility clothing to make sure that, especially at nighttime, the driver can stay in contact with the biker. And if you wear dark clothing, the driver will not be able to see you because you're basically camouflaged with the night scenery. Helmet to protect your vital organ, which is the brain. And it is also crucial that this also wasn't really mentioned here, but you should also have some knee and arm pads just in case to protect your bones as well. It's crucial to do that as well. Now we're going to be discussing about this. This is another diagram that you guys can read this and take a look at this, but really over here, this is a diagram that's indicating where the driver is giving clearance to the biker. And really, the biker needs to make sure that if there's any debris on the road or other vehicles that are passing by, there's something that's very crucial here. What I do want you guys to note here crucially, mainly, is the idea of all clear. The driver needs to slow down for inspection and give the all clear when they see a biker or some other debris. Basically, if a biker is coming, so that way they can yield for the bike to pass through. And there's something that's called gauge clearance. That's basically saying all clear. And really, that's very crucial for the driver. You need to stay in contact with the biker, but also oncoming traffic as well, so that way you can give way for the biker to pass through. So be very careful of debris. Be very careful of any vehicles coming in. Stay in contact with the driver is very crucial here. And please, please, please try to gauge clearance drivers when it comes with bikers, because they also have a vehicle, and the bikes are a vehicle, and you need to give lane for them. Now let's talk about biker signs. Biker signs are usually helpful when you're trying to stay in contact with the driver. You should always make sure your signs and lights are also visible in the bike as well. Signs are not going to be only the helpful thing, but making sure your bike is visible, especially at night, is also very crucial. Over here we have like different turns here. We have a left turn. You're raising your left hand. You have the right turns, which are basically indicating this is from the back end of the position of where the biker is at. He's raising his left arm at a perpendicular 90-degree angle, or he can wave his right hand so that he's indicating that he's turning right. To make a stop, you can do a left underarm to make sure that you can tell the driver, hey, you need to stop so I can pass through. Slow down, he's waving his left hand side to side, so that way you can tell the driver to slow down. Give way or basically gauge clearance, give the clear for the driver so he can pass through. That's basically swinging his right hand. And also a road hazard or a pothole, swinging his right hand in a counterclockwise direction. Or you can just point down the road hazard to indicate to the driver or another biker or someone else that there is in fact a pothole or some debris that other people need to be worried about. So now, before we also begin, there is a link that I also want to show you guys. Let me just try to, let's see if I can try to pull this up here. Okay, so this is more of a diagram for more information about basic bike hand signals. Excuse my audio. My audio is a little bit bad, but it's going to get there, hopefully. Stay tuned on that. But there's basically basic bike hand signals that you can note here. I'm going to put this on the link in the video as well, so you guys can take a look at this as well. And bike hand signals are very helpful because it helps you avoid being hit by a car, really. And it really says it right here as well. So yeah, this is something that's very crucial and helpful in the long run, hopefully. Now we're going to be discussing about pedaling. Now, in terms of pedaling, there are specific things I want you to know here, but let's just take a look at this diagram. So over here we have something that's called o'clock positions. We have positions. Basically, in this case, just note that the colors match where really the different parts of the body, the rear, like underneath your hip, this is really where all your body stuff is going to basically allow the bike to pedal forward. your hip flexors, knee flexors, ankle dorsiflexors, ankle plantar flexors, knee foot extensors, and hip extensors allow the bike to push forward. A lot of this is coming from the leg and your the bottom portion of your body. So you have to be very, very crucial, and you also have to be very, very vigilant when it comes to biking because you're powering the bike, and this is basically coming from the bottom portion of your body. So over here we have the 12 o'clock position. So when you're pushing the bike forward from the 12 o'clock position down to the 6 o'clock position, that is called the power phase. When you are pushing from the 6 o'clock, when you're pushing from the 6 o'clock back to the 12 o'clock, that is called the recovery phase. Power phase is essentially when you're pushing the bike forward and down. Recovery phase is when you're trying to allow the body to recover from the phase of being power. You're basically recovering from the power phase. Now, some possible injuries that you can have are muscle fatigue and back pain. The ways to prevent these injuries are also to heal, is to really rest. Having hydration, eating as well, resting is something that's very crucial. If you do not rest, your body is going to start to become numb. It's very crucial that you rest at times as well. Don't bike all the time. Well, you can bike all the time. It's good for exercise, but there is a certain limit when it comes to play when you have to take care of your body. Self care is very, very important. Building endurance is also very key. If the more you bike longer, the more you're prone to biking, the more you're going to get that experience and build that endurance as time goes on. Please remember, a bike is in fact another vehicle. A bike is another vehicle, so I'm just letting you know about that as well.